install the Visual Studio 2022 on all of these operating systems. The first one is the Windows 11 and this version. Also the Home Pro, Pro Education, Pro up to the end version. Then I have the Windows 10 version 1909 or higher, including the Home Professional up to the end. Also I have the Windows Server 2022, then the Windows Server 2019, Windows Server 2016. So I can easily install the Visual Studio 22 on all of these operating systems. And don't forget, we have the notes over here, and it is the list of unsupported operating system. The Windows 11 Home in the S mode and the 32-bit and ARM operating systems up to the end. You know what? We don't need to memorize all of this, and we can easily get access to this list by quick searching in the Google. So don't memorize all of this, and I want to talk about this for your deeper understanding and better result. Now if I scroll down, I have the hardware list, and at the top I have the CPU specification, and it is 1.8 GHz or faster, and the 64-bit processor, something like the quad core or better. And if I take a look at the taskbar, right click over here and come to the task manager and come to the performance, and here I have the CPU or central processor unit. Currently I have the octa-core CPU, and this is the speed of my CPU. And after that we need to get access to the next properties, and it is the minimum memory or the RAM. So if I take a look, the minimum of 4 GB of RAM is required, and also the recommended memory or the RAM is 16 GB for better results and to increase the performance. So if I take a look at the task manager, and this is the memory, you can see it is up to 16 GB, and it is the DDR and DDR3 indeed. So it is great and amazing for working with the Visual Studio 2022. Then I have the next one, and it is the hard disk space. You know what, if you want to work with the Visual Studio, it's a really great idea using the SSD hard drive because of the increasement in the performance. And as you know, the speed of the SSD hard drives are really amazing and great. So if you want to increase the performance of the Visual Studio, don't hesitate to use the SSD hard drive. Also, you can use the HDD hard drives, but the performance will be reduced. So the minimum required space is about 1 GB up to 210 GB. Wow, it's really great and amazing. 210 GB. But it's not necessary to use this number. Why? Because the size of the Visual Studio or the required size depends on the features that you want to install during the installation of the Visual Studio. So the typical installation requires between 20 up to 50 GB of the free space on your hard disk drive. And don't forget to use the SSD. Then we need to use the appropriate video card drive or the display drive. And the resolution or the minimum resolution indeed is 1366 by 568, and the best resolution for working with the Visual Studio is the Full HD resolution, and it is about 1920 in the 1080 or the Full HD. Then you can start working with it easily and quickly. Also, we need to consider all the matters that is not important matter. Okay, excellent, congratulations, I enjoyed a lot. Now we learned the most common requirements of the Visual Studio for installing on the Windows drive. But what is the next step? In the next step, I want to show you how to download and install the Visual Studio, but it needs a lot of time. So stay with me with the next part of the video tutorial. Thanks for your time. Hey guys, welcome back. In this video I want to talk about how to easily download and install the Visual Studio 2022 on the Windows 10. So let's get started. First I talked about the system requirements of the Visual Studio 2022. In this video, it's time to talk about how we can download and install it. So if I open up the Google and search the Visual Studio 2022, then I have the visualstudio.microsoft.com. This is the official website of the Visual Studio. So if I click on that and get inside the web page. In this web page, we can get access to the latest versions of the Visual Studio and anything that we need to work with it. So currently I have something like this interface or the design for the Visual Studio. Maybe in the future you can see another web page. So don't worry about anything and just click on the, for instance, free Visual Studio or download the Visual Studio. Also, I have the Visual Studio 2022 over here. And if I take a look at the links over here, I have the download Visual Studio button. And if I hover on that, I have 3 different versions of the Visual Studio: the community, the professional, and the enterprise. So the first one is the community edition, and it is great for the personal usages, and also it is completely free. And currently I want to work with the Visual Studio only for the tutorial or the education, so I can easily and freely get start working with it. And the next version is the professional. So if you have a little money and you want to work with the Visual Studio, so the professional is great for you. And if you want to spend a lot of money and you have the enterprise or the business, this is great for you, the enterprise edition. As I told you, I'm the teacher or the instructor here, so I don't want to spend any money, and the community is great for you. So let's click on this easily and quickly. After a couple of seconds, everything will be downloaded automatically. So my download is done and I can get access to my downloaded file over here. And you can see the VS community up to the end. Okay, excellent, congratulations. Now my file is ready to be installed. It's time consuming, so stay with me. Hey guys, welcome back. In this video, I want to talk about how to download the Visual Studio 2022 on your Windows 10. So let's get started. Previously, I talked about how to download the Visual Studio installation file. Now this is, and its version is the community, as I told you. So if I click on that, after a couple of seconds, I have this window. So before installing it, don't hesitate to watch the Microsoft license agreement. Then you can see more information about the privacy and something like that over here. After reading this, you can come to the continue and click on it. So you need to be patient for downloading the required files of the Visual Studio installation. Let's be patient. After a couple of seconds, up to, for instance, 1 minute, I have the main interface of the installation. So this is the new window and you can close this, for instance. So in this window, you can see the currently installed Visual Studio over here. As you see over here, I have installed the older version 2017, also 2019 on my current Windows. So if you want to install the new version, you can easily do it. Come to the available, then the Visual Studio Community 2022 and click on the install. So this is, and let's be patient, and this is the same window like the starting one. In this window I can manage which features I want to install on my Visual Studio. So I have same tabs over here: the workloads, individual components, language packs, and installation locations. Let's talk about the first one, the workloads. The workload indeed is the group of features or the features by the group that you want to install for your Visual Studio. Over here I have the different technologies that are available and I can easily click and install all of these one by one. So if I take a look at the first one, it is the ASP.NET and web development. If you want to create the website using the ASP.NET technology or the JavaScript or the HTML, this is great for you. You can easily click on that. So this is, and based on your selection, we have some other features that are dedicated for this workload or this selection. Also, you can expand or collapse that. And at the top, I have the Visual Studio Core Editor. Indeed, these are automatically selected and include everything that is needed for running the Visual Studio itself. And this feature is common, or the default features that should be installed at your computer, and you can change it. But you can change the features of the ASP.NET, for instance, to install or not. And also, if you want to work with the C# or the Visual Studio or the F# or with the .NET or the .NET framework for creating the WPF, Windows Form, and the console application, don't hesitate to click on this checkbox. So after clicking on that, I have the .NET Desktop Development and all of the features inside it. If I take a look, yes, this is the .NET Desktop Development, and all of these are available for you. Also, you can customize one of these options. For instance, select this or unselect this. It's not important matter. So personally, I prefer to leave all of this by default. And if I collapse that, so up to here I have the Visual Studio Core Editor, the ASP.NET for creating the website, and the .NET Development for working with the C# with .NET WPF, and the .NET Technology for creating the desktop applications or the Windows Form and also the console applications. You can see the appropriate and required information over here under the title. And also, if you want to work with the mobile application and develop the application for the mobile using the Xamarin, and based on these selections, we have the total space required over here. And also, if you want to develop the application for the smartphone or the mobile applications, then you can select this checkbox. Then you can create the applications for the iOS, the Android, and the Windows using the Xamarin technology. So I have the appropriate over here, the mobile development with .NET, and all of this available for creating the mobile or the smartphone applications. And also my total space is changed up to 11 gigabyte. Then if you want to work with the Python, you can easily select this. If you want to work with the Python in the Visual Studio. Also, if you want to work with the Node.js, select this. And indeed, all of these are available separately and individually for the Visual Studio. You can add or remove these features one by one into your Visual Studio. And also, if you want to work with the Universal Windows Platform, then check this checkbox. Or if you want to work with the C++ for creating the desktop applications for the Windows. So you can select this one and check this checkbox, for instance, and the space is added also over here. Then if you want to develop the application for the mobile using the C++, don't hesitate to check this checkbox. And also, if you want to create and develop the game using the C++ for working with the Unreal Engine or the DirectX directly, something like creating the game engines, then check this checkbox. And also, if you want to work with the Unity, don't hesitate to check this checkbox. And after that, if I take a look, I have all of these options. And finally, if you want to develop the application for the Linux using the C++, don't hesitate to click on this checkbox, something like this. Now, if I take a look at the results over here, I have all of this. At the top, I have the common features, and it is the kernel or the common features of the Visual Studio itself. Then based on my selections, I have the ASP.NET, .NET Desktop, mobile desktop development, mobile development with the C++, game with the C++, game with the Unity, and also the Linux. Then based on these selections, I need up to 25 gigabytes of the free space on my hard drive. So let's come over here and let's uncheck the unused checkboxes. The first one is the Linux. I don't want to work with it. And also, if I scroll up, the game with the C++, I don't want to work with it. And also the Unity. And don't forget the simple question. Is it necessary to check all of this? No, never. And you need to select this based on your need. And I quickly talked about the required features and the applications over here. And also, I don't want to develop the mobile application using the C++ and uncheck this one. So until here, I have the Visual Studio ASP.NET for creating the web applications using the ASP.NET, the .NET, and it is the desktop application using the C# Web.NET, and the mobile using the Xamarin, for instance, or the iOS applications using the C# and the appropriate technologies. And finally, the desktop application using the C++. And as I told you, you can uncheck or check these options based on your needs. So if you want to only work with the ASP.NET, check only this one. And if you want to work with the C# and Web.NET, only you need to select this. And also if you want to work with the mobile applications, don't hesitate to check this. And finally, for working with the C++, you need only this one. But personally, I prefer to install all of this because I need this version of the Visual Studio in the different courses. So I have another option, and the default location is available over here. You can change it, or it's better to leave it by default. Also, I have two other options: install while downloading or download all then install. It's completely obvious. If you want to download all of these files, then install, so download all, then install. And if you want to download one part, then install it and continue until the end, select install while downloading. Personally, I prefer to use the download all, then install. And this is. And also, what about another options over here? If I take a look at the individual components, these are the components that are selected based on your selection over here in the workload. So if I take a look at that, for instance, the .NET, all of these are selected based on my selections in the workload or these options. And also you can see all the features and the tools. Also, you can check or uncheck one of these options if you need to customize these features. But personally, I leave this by default because the default is really great. Then I have the language pack, and you can easily change the language of the Visual Studio installation. By default, it is English. You can change it based on your needs and language. And finally, I have the installation location. So you can change the default location of the Visual Studio installation, including the Visual Studio IDE. So it is by default over here and will be installed inside this. And you can see something like this. And my drive C is my Windows drive, then the program files, Microsoft Visual Studio version, and the community. Then I have the download cache, and every downloaded file will be copied over here. So we need it later for upgrading or for editing the installation. I strongly recommend you don't change this one or even this, and leave all of this by default. Also, I have a really great checkbox over here, keep download cache after the installation. Indeed, the Visual Studio will download the required file based on your selection over here. Then save it inside this location. So if you want to keep these files, don't hesitate to check this one after installation. And if you uncheck this, every file after installing of the Visual Studio will be deleted, and it's not really great idea because sometimes we need to update or upgrade or change the installation features. Then we need to download all of these files from scratch. So for preventing any unexpected errors in the future, I strongly recommend you to check this checkbox and keep your files safe in the cache folder. So I have all of this information over here, and also the total required space, and everything is ready for me. Now it's time to install it. So come over here and click on the install. And based on this selection, first all of my files should be downloaded, then the install will be started. So let's click on the install. Okay, excellent. Now my download is started, and I need up to 4 GB of the files that should be downloaded. And it needs a lot of time, so we need to be patient. And as I mentioned previously, under this one, I can see all the versions, and it is the Visual Studio 2017 and 2019. That's all of these are currently installed on my Windows 10. So this is the new version, and it needs a lot of time, and the only thing we need is patience. So stay with me. Welcome back. Now everything is downloaded automatically and you can see the checkbox over here. And also the packages or the features are installing one by one, up to 608 features that should be installed. So installing all of these is really time consuming, and the only thing we need is patience, patience, and patience. So stay with me. Welcome back. Congratulations, the installation is done successfully. Now it's time to see the miracle. So come over here and click on the OK. As you see over here, I have installed the Visual Studio Community 2022, and also I have some other buttons over here. So if I click on the launch, then the Visual Studio will be executed. But as I mentioned, don't forget to restart your computer and your Windows before launching or running the Visual Studio 2022. Also, I have the more button over here. Click on that. And here I have the repair. If you want to repair some files on your Visual Studio installation, then this is great for you. And also if you want to uninstall the Visual Studio or remove it completely from your Windows, then click on the uninstall. Also, I have other options that currently we don't need to work with them. Also, I have the modify button over here. If you want to add or remove some features to the Visual Studio installation, then don't forget to click on this button, the modify. And the same window is available over here. As I mentioned during the installation of the Visual Studio, you can easily add or remove some features, then click on the modify and everything will be updated based on your changes. So come over here and close this one because I don't want to edit anything in my Visual Studio. Now let's come over here and close this one and also come to this and search the Visual Studio. So I have the Visual Studio 2022. Right click on this and pin to start, and also I can right click over here and pin to the taskbar. Also you can get access to the uninstall from here, the uninstall. So let's pin to the taskbar. Now I have the Visual Studio, the newer version over here, and put it beside the 2019 over here exactly. So 2017, 2019, and 2022. Also, as I mentioned, you can come to this and write the Visual Studio. So this is the newer version. Right click on that and click on the uninstall. And let's see the result. So come over here and come to the Visual Studio. Where are you, Visual Studio? Also, you can write the Visual Studio over here, and let's try my chance and let's see the result. So I have the Visual Studio, the newer version, and click on that. So the same window over here to uninstall, remove, or anything that you want. Now let's be patient and let's cancel this and close this one. Also, you can click on the change and the uninstall. Let's see the results. So I have the Visual Studio over here, the 2022, and also if I click on the start, then I have the new version of the Visual Studio. Congratulations, we did it. Now everything is ready for me to get started working with the Visual Studio 2022. But don't forget, this tutorial is based on the common features and the standard controls and features and codes of the Visual Studio using the different technologies. So you can follow my tutorials with the older version of the Visual Studio, something like the Visual Studio 2017 or 2019. And don't forget, the version of the Visual Studio is not important matter. The only thing is important is your proficiency, is your effort, and is your eager to create your own world with the Visual Studio and the different technologies. It's really important and tricky, not. With the best wishes. Thanks for your time. Hi there, in this video I want to show you how to start working with the Visual Studio for the first time and create the new C# project. So let's take it. First we talked about how to install the Visual Studio. Now let's come over here. This is my Visual Studio. The version of the Visual Studio is not important matter. Currently I'm using 2022 version of the Visual Studio. So come over here and come to this one. We have two options. First, I can create the new project from here like this and get to start configuring the project. or you can use my favorite and continue without code. Both of these are similar. So let's continue. This is the Integrated Developer Environment, or IDE. So get inside the file, new, and the project. In this window, we need to select the project type. We have some recent project templates. That is not important matter. Let's leave it. And here I have the search text box, or you can use these combo boxes for selecting your project type. Now let's come over here and select this one. I want to work with the C#. Also, I want to work with the Windows. So this is the Windows. And all project type. The project type I want to work is the desktop, because I want to create the application for the desktop computer and also the Windows operating system by the C#. So I have all of these options. I have the Windows Form application using the .NET Core or the .NET. Also, you have the older version using the .NET Framework. You know what? If you wanna work with the most up-to-date version of the .NET, so you need to use this one, the .NET Core or .NET. But if you wanna work with the older version, you have this one, the .NET Framework. Personally, I prefer to use the most up-to-date version, and it is the .NET or .NET Core. Select this, and it is the Windows Form application with the .NET and also the C# for the desktop computers, and come to the next. In this window, you need to configure your project. The first step is assigning the name for your project. So my project name is my first application, but it's not important matter which name you want. You can easily write your own name. And also the location of the project, that's listed by default. Then I have the solution name, or the name of your solution. You know what? The solution is something like the folder that we can add one or more project inside it. Each project by default should be inside one solution. So the default name is my first app, and let's add the SN. It stands for solution name or the solution. This is the result. Do you want to place the solution and project in the same directory? No, I don't want to use the same folder for the project and solution. So uncheck this one. Now the result is over here, that is created inside this folder up to this one. Now get inside the next step. In this window, I need to select the framework or the engine of my project. I want to work with the .NET 7, the latest version of the .NET Core 7.0. And it is STS, or standard term support. And also I have the .NET 6 long-term support. You know what? In the future, if you got the newer version of the .NET, you can easily work with them. So the version of the .NET is not important matter, because this is the tutorial project and I wanna work with the basic type of the project. So it's not important matter. Let's select the most up-to-date version, or in the future, .NET 8, .NET 9 up to the end. So let's create our first project. Well done. Now my project is created, and this is the default form. You can easily select this and resize it like this, or any size that you want. Let's select something like this one. If you take a look over here, I have the Solution Explorer, and this is the main part for managing your project. This is the solution. As I mentioned, each solution has one or more project inside it. Currently, I have only one project, so it is my first app. Inside the my first app SN. So this is the result. As you see over here, I have some files and folders. So if I take a look at the dependencies, you can see it is the frameworks. So if you create the application, you need to use the Microsoft.NET Core and also the Windows Form. And after that, I have the form one. This is the form one. You can easily select this and let's save and close the form. And also, it's a really great idea to select this one and move it over here, or over here, here, and this one. So let's select this side, the left side, and this is the result. You can also click on this to auto hide it, or select that like this. And also I can come over here and resize it like this. And in addition, I have the show all files over here. So all of the files are available over here. Some of the folders are hidden, something like the bin and also the object. So if I click over here, show all files, now I have only the visible files, and this is the form 1. You can easily double click on it to see the form 1. And also I have the program that is the settings of the application by default. So I don't want to work with all of this at once. Let's close this and close also this one. And if you can't see the solution explorer by default, it's really simple. Let's close this and this one and everything. So come to this. By default, I have the view. So click on it and I have the solution explorer. Let's select that. And after that, I have the properties window. So let's select the properties window like this. And also if I take a look over here, I have the toolbox. So this is the toolbox like this. And also you can select this and move it anywhere that you want. For instance, move it over here, or I can come over here and select this one, move it at the bottom. Now I have the toolbox over here and also the solution explorer over here. It's really simple and straightforward. Also, you can auto-hide this or auto-hide this one, and this is the result. And come to the toolbox and set to this one. Now I have the form one, and if I double click on it, then the toolbox will automatically be generated based on your form. Now I have the toolbox over here and I can start working with it. But currently I want to only talk about how to create your first project. So let's talk about it more. Now let's auto-hide this one, and also we have the properties. If you select the form 1% this, then the properties of it is available over here. I'll talk about this and also the toolbox in the upcoming tutorials eventually. So don't worry about anything and just focus on your learning. And after that, I have some buttons at the top. And if I right click over here, I can manage the toolbar, something like the layout, the standard, and also I have the debug and the build. So you can select the debug and also you can uncheck that. Right click over here, I have the layout, and after that I have the standard like this. Now if I take a look over here, I can see the menus at the top. So come over here and get inside the view, and after that I have the toolbars. This is the toolbars. You can select them from here. For instance, I can come over here and select the layout. This is the layout, and after that I can work with it over here, or come to the view, then the toolbars, and select the standard like this. Now I have the standard toolbar over here. So let's run this project for the first time and select this and come over here, run it. And this is the result after a couple of seconds for building the project. Then it will automatically execute it like this. So this is the result. Now if I come over here and right click on the form and open containing folder, or select the form, right click on it, get inside the open containing folder. So this is the folder of my project. As you see, I have all of these files exactly like the project in Solution Explorer. And also I have the solution folder. This is the solution folder. You can see its name, My First App SN. And after that, I have the dedicated folder for my project, and it is My First App. Also, I have this solution or SLN extension. This is the solution file. So if I close this, you can see the result. Let's be patient. Now double click on the solution file and my file will be opened and indeed my project. So let's be patient after a couple of seconds. As you see, my project is loaded one more time, and it means everything is working perfectly. Now let's double click on the project folder and open it. So this is the project folder. And if I come to the project and select the show all files like this, now I have more files and folders over here. If I take a look, you can see the bin, this is the bin, the object over here. And also I have the form 1 and it is 3 files. So this is form 1, and I have 3 files inside it. The first one is the designer, so you can see the auto-generated code by the Visual Studio, and this is the result. And after that, I have the resx, and this is the resource file, or files for adding the text, the images, all the files inside it. At the first step, you don't need to memorize all of this. I'm going to talk about it for your deeper understanding. So don't worry about anything and don't be afraid. So this is the form 1. And after that, I have the program and I have the imports up to the end. So I have the files over here. Now, if I take a look inside the bin or binary and click on it, come to the debug, .NET 7, and here I have the my first app. This is the first app, and if I click on it, I have the form 1 over here, and it is exactly like running it from this button, or come to the debug, and this is the start debugging. You can use the F5 or select it from here to start running the application for debugging. What is the debug? Debug means for running the application to find the errors. So don't worry about this matter. Now if I come over here and click on this, these are the files for running the application. And if you want to run it, select the my first app. You can see my first app.exe or executable file and click on it. So it's run automatically without any problem, and close this one. Well done. So this is the quick tour about the first application using the C# and the Visual Studio. And also, as I mentioned, I have the toolbox over here that you can get access to all of these easily and quickly. For instance, let's select the button, drag and drop over here on the window. So it is like this. And also I have the checkbox. This is the checkbox, and the combo box. This is the combo box, the label, and all of these are available for you up to here. And also I have the picture box to show the picture to the user. I'll talk about this matter step by step in my upcoming tutorials, how to work with these controls easily and quickly. So don't worry about it. Okay, I enjoyed a lot. Now we learned how to create our first application using the C# and the .NET Core technology. So open up your Visual Studio and start creating your first project. Thanks and thanks goodness. Hi, welcome. In this video, I want to show you how to easily start working with the most common properties of the form. So let's begin. First, we talked about how to create the project, and also we talked about the properties window, then the toolbox, and many other great tips and tricks. And the next step is time to work with the form. So let's select the form, right click on it, get inside the properties. So the form 1 is selected over here. And also I have all of these properties based on the different categories. So by default, these are grouped by the category. And you can see the button over here, the categorize. And the next one is alphabetical. So if you click on the alphabetical, now all of the properties are sorted by the alphabet. And this is my favorite one. Also, you can use your own and use the categorized version of the properties. Let's select my favorite one and the alphabetic. So over here, I have the different properties from here up to the end. And you know what? It's not necessary to memorize all of this. So I'll talk about the most common properties. The first one is the text. So this is the text over here. And let's name it, for instance, memo or something like that. So it is changed. If you click over here, it's changed. And also, if I take a look over here, I have the window state. By default, it is normal. I can select the minimize or maximize. So let's select this, maximize. But we need to run the application and check it in the runtime. Runtime means check the property after running the application. So it is maximized, and as you see over here, and if I take a look over here, I can easily select the minimize. So let's be patient. Come over here, and this is the next one, and it is the minimize. So if I run the application, I can't see the form anymore. So this is the result. It started in the minimize and it is over here, the minimized version of the form. Now let's select the normal and let's leave it. So come over here and come to the minimize and change it to the normal. In the next step, I have the start position. By default, it is window default location. So the items are center screen and center parent. If I run the application like this, after a couple of seconds, by default, the location of my form is over here. You can easily change it and put it at the center of the monitor or my display. So come over here and the start position. Now come to this and I have different properties over here. But my favorite one is center screen. So this is the center screen and if I run, I can see the great and fabulous result. You can see it is at the center of my window or my display. And after that, if I scroll up, I have the next one. Now come over here and I have the show in taskbar. By default, it is true. And if you change it to the false and run the application, then we can't see the icon of the application in the taskbar over here. So it's done, but we haven't any taskbar menu or the image over here. And this is the power of the show in the taskbar. So let's set it back, show in taskbar, and set it to the true like this. And also, suppose you want to change this icon over here. It is by the show icon. So if you click on the true and set it to false, then I can't see any image or the icon over here. And if I set it to the true, then it is over here at the top left. After assigning the show icon to the true, I have the icon over here. So let's select this and get inside the icons folder. By default, you can come over here, get inside the iconfinder.com and write first the save and press enter. After a couple of seconds, I have all of this. Let's set it to the free because I want to work with the free and select this, click on it. Over here, I have different options. The first PNG, the other, it is the ICO or icon. This is my favorite one. And it is different than the ICNS, ICO. Then you can select it and download. Or come to the PNG and select one of these sizes and start downloading it. But my favorite one is the ICO and download. Now I have the images over here after downloading. So it is over here and you can get access to all of these images after downloading the project files of this course. So come to the icons and I have both of this. Let's copy this and if I take a look in the Visual Studio, it's over here and this is the result. Let's select the save. So the save is added over here and also if I run, I can see the save icon at the taskbar over here. So the situation, you can see the taskbar icon over here. And after that, if I take a look, I have another option and it is right to left layout. And if you select this and change it, and also the right to left, set it to true. Now everything is changed and my items over here are at the left side. And also my icon is changed to this side in the top right. But this is not practical for the left-right languages, something like the English or French or German. It is great for the Arabic language and also the Persian language. Let's set both of these and set it to false. Also this one, set it to false. In the next step, I have the minimize box. You can see the minimize box over here. I can easily change it to nothing. So it's disabled and I can't work with it anymore. And also I have the maximum box. So it's disabled and is hidden from the form. And after that, I have the control box over here. If you disable that, then I haven't any control icons over here. It's really simple and it's straightforward. Let's set it back. And now I have only the close button. And if I take a look in the next step, I have the form border style. By default, it is sizable, so my user can resize it, not in the design mode. This is the design mode, and this is the runtime. And by default, it is sizable, so I can resize my form like this easily without any restriction. So come over here and get inside the form border style. Let's select this, come over here. I have different options. The most common is fixed single or fixed 3D or fixed dialog. The most common is the fixed single and also the sizable. Let's set it to the fixed single. Now, if I run the application, my user can't resize the form. Then I have the for color or the text color. By default, it is black, so anything inside my form is black. You can see all of this over here. And the for color or text color. By default, I have three types of the colors: the system colors, web color, and also custom color. If I take a look in the system, these colors belong to the operating system. In this example, my Windows. For instance, if I select the control, this is the result. And also if I come over here and select something else, for instance, the desktop. So this is the desktop. Or you can select the color by the name. For instance, get inside the brown. So all of these are brown. Why? Because the form is the parent of these children. So the for color, the text color of the elements over here will be like the main form. Now come over here and select this, and after that I have the custom. You can select one of these colors or right click over here to create any color that you want, like this. If I take a look, now I have the new color, and over here I have the codes of the color. And after that I have the font. If I come over here and select the font, I can easily change it to something like this, and you can see it over here. Let's undo. And after that, come over here. Then I have the control box, as I mentioned previously, enable. To enable or disable the window. If you set the enable to false, then we can't do anything with the controls inside it. And all of these are locked and I can't work with it anymore. And after that, I have the cursor over here to change it to something else. For instance, if I scroll down, I have my favorite one, and it is the hand. To change the cursor after running the application. And then I have the background image. This is the background image. And if I click on it, I can easily select the image for that. Get inside the local resource, import, and here I have the images inside the back images. You can use the downloaded images or my own image. And if I take a look, this is my favorite one, and this is the result. But the size of the image is not true. So come to the background image layout over here. By default, it is tile. Let's set it to the center. Nothing. Let's set it to the stretch. You can see it's a stretch, and I can easily resize it like this. And after that, if I take a look, I can use the zoom. And in the zoom, the scale of the image doesn't change. So we have something like this, and semi-spaces at the top and the bottom. My favorite one is zoom or the stretch like this. Now let's create the small image and set the tile. So come over here, the images, the back images, and this is my favorite one. Open it with the paint. So this is my paint, and if I come over here and copy this part, add the new and paste it over here, exactly like this. You can easily use the Ctrl+N from your keyboard to generate the new file. So come over here and let's save it, for instance, on my desktop and name it test. And if I take a look in my desktop, so you can see it over here. If you look, it is something like this. Now get inside the Visual Studio, and here I have the image. I can easily select this from the desktop. So this is the desktop image, and it is a small one. But if I take a look over here and change it to the tile, then I have something like this, and it is a tiled image up to here. And this is the special effect that you can add to in the form like color. So let's select this, and after that I can easily clear, and this is the clear. Then I have the back color. I can change it to anything that I want. But my favorite one is light gray or white smoke, and this is the white smoke. You can select any color that you want, or you can create it from here. And this is the result like this. But let's select my favorite one, and it is the white smoke, and this is the result. And for the final step, I have the auto scale mode. By default is font, and if you change the font, for instance, let's select this and change it to something else, like for instance the 9, and click OK. As you see, the size of my window and the form is changed based on the size of my font. I can easily disable this, come to the auto scale mode, where are you, this is, and set it to the none. By default it is the font. Now if I select this and get inside the font over here, this is my font, and increase the number, for instance, up to 16. Then this will be changed up to 16, but the size of form is unchanged and fixed. It's really great and everything. Now let's run and let's check it for the final time. So I have something like this over here, and these aren't enabled because we disabled the form, and I can do anything. So let's come over here, select this, come to the enabled. So let's set it back, the enabled, and if I run, I can see the great result. So I can work with this, and also this one easily and quickly. Well done. Now we learned quickly the most common properties and useful properties of the form itself. So go ahead and open up your project and start working with the common properties of the form. Thanks, and thanks goodness. Hi, welcome. In this video, I want to show you how to easily start working with the common properties of the button, the label, and also the text box. So let's do it. First, we talked about how to work with the common properties of the form. So let's develop our power. Let's select all of this and come over here and delete them. Let's select the form, come to the for color, and set it to the black like this. Now it looks better. And also, if I take a look, I have the big font, and if I take a look, this is the big one. I can decrease the font size to 14 like this. Now let's save everything, get inside the toolbox, and here I have all of these elements. Indeed, these are the categories or group of the controls inside it, and this is the result. My favorite one is all Windows form. So if I expand that, I can easily start searching the element from here, or like me, drag and drop the button, and the button is added to my window. And also, if I take a look, the next one is label, and I have the label over here, and the next one is text box. So this is the text box. Where are you? Great. And the text box is over here. So let's talk about these three elements and controls one by one. Starting with the button 1. Come over here and come to the properties, and the first one is text. So let's write save, or save the images or the text or the data. You are completely free to write anything that you want. Now it's done, and if I resize it up to here, currently the text is at the center horizontally and the vertically. I can come over here and I have the text align middle center, so I can put it over here like this, or even like this one. And after that, if I take a look, I have another one, and it is the image align. So I can easily add the image. Come over here, select this, come to this one, and suppose I want to work with this one, the about or question or help, and add it over here. Now it's added at the horizontally and vertically center. I can easily come over here, and this is the middle center, and I can easily put it at the top or the bottom. You are free to select anything that you want. Now let's select this and this one. And in the next step, I can easily resize it to this. And this is the simple save button. Also, let's copy and paste over here. And suppose I want to change the image location. It's really simple. And let's set the location of the image at the top and the text at the bottom. To do that, I have two options. First, I can come over here and select the text image relation. And by default, it is overlay. So let's select the image about text, and this is the result. After aligning image about text, it's time to change the location of the text and the image. So text align, let's come over here and set it to this one, the text at the bottom like this. And after that, the image, so let's select the image and set it to the top like this, easily and quickly. So I have the new image like this. And after all of this, I have another property, and it is right to left. So this is the right to left for the right to left languages like the Persian and the Arabic. And after that, if I scroll up, I have another properties, and let's see. The font, you can easily change the font based on your needs. For instance, let's select this and make it a little bolder and click OK. It is done. And after that, I have the for color or the color of the text. You can select one of these colors, or let's select this one, and it is maroon. And after that, I have the flat style. You can change it to anything that you want. For instance, the flat, then the pop-up, and the standard. This is the default one. And finally, I have the system. And in the system, I haven't any image over here. Let's set it to the standard. And after that, I have the, if I take a look, enable property to enable or disable my button. Let's set it to the true. And this was about the enabled property. And also I have the cursor. So if I take a look, by default, it is hand because the cursor property of my form is hand. So the default one is the arrow, is this one. And if I take a look, I can either change it to the and without any problem. Finally, I have the back color, and I can change the back color to anything that I want. For instance, let's select this or the next one, and the green, light green and pale green. This is the result, pale green. Well done. Now we learned how to work with the button control. So come here and get inside the toolbox. The next one, if I take a look, is the label. So let's add another label over here. And if I take a look, great and amazing. Let's put it at the end and set it over here. So this is the label, and the most common property is the text of it. For instance, let's write help, I am very happy label. So happy label is something like this. And if I scroll up at the beginning, we have the auto size. By default, it is true. So we have something like this. And if I set it to the fonts, then we need to assign the width and height to my element and the label like this. And after that, if I take a look, I can put it a little bit down. And after that, I have the border style. By default, I haven't any border. So you can select the fixed single. This is and the fix 3D. So this is the fix 3D. It is really different. So come here and come to this and set it to the fix single. And after that, I have the back color that you can change it to any color that you want. For instance, I can come to this color and it looks better. And after that, I have the text alignment, and you can select the text align over here and set it to the center. And this is, so it is at the center vertically and horizontally. You can see if you change the size like this, it is center horizontally and vertically. And after that, I have the font. So let's select the font and make my text a little bit smaller like this easily. And after all of this, I have the for color or the color of label. You can change it to anything. that you want. Then I have the image, and if I select this, get inside the local resource and select one of these options. And remember, you can get access to all of this by downloading the projects of this course, or you can use the next method and use the iconfinder.com to select anything that you want. So let's cover here and come to the about png, or I can add the next one like this. And now it's added over here. And in the next step, I have the image align middle center. Let's set it to this one. And great. Now it looks better. And after all of this, if I take a look, get inside the next property, and it is the visible to show and hide the elements. And the visible will be applied in the runtime after running the project. So as you see, I can't see the label anymore because the visible is false. It's really important matter to set the visible to true to show the label in its location. So come here and set the visible to false. Well done. Now we learned many great tips and tricks about how to work with the label. So stay with me. Welcome back. Now let's talk about the next one, and it is the text box. This is my text box, and if I take a look over here in the application, this is the Audacity application. It is free, and you can easily download the Audacity from the Google. And come over here, come to this and select something like this. Come to the effect and get inside the equalizer and bass and turbo. As you see, I have the label over here, the buttons at the top, and also I have the text box here, and also over here. Then I have the another label and another text box. So these are really important elements. And if I take a look over here, I have the buttons at the top, two lines of the text, and also the label. And if I take a look, this is the text box, the label, up to the end. So let's start working with the last option and the control, and it is the label. So let's come over here and select this one and select the text box one more time. Let's start working with the most common properties. If I take a look, I have the back color that you can change it. The border style by default is 3D, or you can change it. After that, I have the cursor. Let's leave it by default. And after that, I have the enable to enable or disable the text box. Currently, my text box is disabled. And if I run, I can't work with it anymore because the enable property is false. So come over here and you can see it is completely locked and I can't work with it. So let's come over here and set the enable to true. Then I have the font. I can change it, the font color or the color of the text. And also if I scroll down, I have the max length or maximum available characters. For instance, up to 10 characters. Then I can't write more than 10 characters inside the text box. Also, I have the multi-line, let's set it to true. And now I can select this one and resize it. And I can write the multi-line text inside my text box. And let's select that and set the multi-line to once. After that, I have the password character. And let's add the asterisk like this. Now, if I write anything in the text property, the text box will show only the asterisk. For instance, the help, and the result is like this. You know what? This text box is great for the login window or anywhere that we need to write the login to protect our password. So this is the results, the help. And also I can come over here and set the asterisk to nothing like this. Also I have the help, you can see it inside it. In addition, I have another property and it is read only. The read only means lock the text box, and this is the result. The text color is changed. Now if I run the application, let's see the result. So this is not enabled. So let's select this and delete or write anything, but I can't do anything. But we can select the text over here and let's copy so I can work with the locked text box, and this is the result. And sometimes I need to lock the text box for the specific usage. And after that, if I scroll down, I have the scroll bars. It is the horizontal or vertical. When you wanna work with the multi-line text box. But currently I haven't the multi-line text box. Come over here and set the read only to false. And this is the result. Congratulations, now we learned how to work with the text box, the button, and the label. So my mission is accomplished successfully. In the next and upcoming tutorial, I'll show you how to design the real world project by this. And after that, I'll show you how to start writing your first C# code. So stay with me. Thanks and thanks goodness. Hi, welcome. In this video, I want to show you how to easily start creating the registration form in the Visual Studio and the C#. So let's dig in. Previously, we talked about the most common properties of the form and how to work with these elements. Now let's create the real-world project by using all of these options and controls. It's really simple and it's straightforward. We can delete all of this and start designing it over here, or we can add the new form. Let's come over here, right click on the project, add and the new item. Also, you can add the form from this one, the form directly, or you can add the new item. No worries and no problem. So I have the Windows form over here and it is inside the C# items. Also, you can search it for fast result from here. So it is inside the C# items and the form. Now let's write, for instance, a student rec or registration. A student rec and click add. Now the new form is added over here after a couple of seconds. So it is over here. It's time to assign the default properties to that. Let's decide it something like this. Come over here and name it the student registration. And after that, set the start position to the center screen. Do you want to show the icon? No, I don't want to add the icon over here. And after that, right to left. No, it's not right to left. Then I have the minimize and maximize. Let's disable the maximize and the minimize. Now I have only the close button over here. And in the next step, I have the font. I can change it. So let's select the smaller font, for instance, the 10 or 11, or the bigger font like 14. Everything is based on your needs. And after that, I have the form border style. Let's set it to the fixed single like this. Now it's time to add the items. It's really simple and straightforward. But before doing anything, let's talk more about the group box. And drag and drop over here, the group box. The group box is for grouping the items inside it. If I take a look in the other city, and it's really most famous between the programmers, the group box. Come to the effects and the page, and this is the page. As you aware, I have the group box for grouping these items, and also another one for grouping these items. In addition, if I take a look in the next one, and like this, the base interval. So I have another one over here and another group box over here for grouping the items inside it. So let's switch in the action. Come to this, and the most common properties is indeed the text. So let's write details, and this is my details. And after that, if I take a look over here, we have all the properties like the back color. You can change it to anything that you want. For instance, I can change it to the white smoke, and this is the white smoke. Then I have the enable to enable and disable. You know what? This is the group box. So if you disable that, everything inside it will be disabled. For instance, if I come over here at the bottom, then the checkbox, for instance, is not important matter. Let's add it over here. Now, if I select this and move it, you can see all of the items are moving. Why? Because the group box is parent and these are children. So if I select this and come and set the enable to the false, now all of these will be disabled in the runtime because the parent is disabled. As the result, the button and the checkbox will be disabled. So let's set it to true. Then I have the for color or the text color. You can change it to anything that you want. For instance, let's select the red like this. So all the elements inside the group box will get the for color or text color until we assigned them individually. For instance, if I come over here and select this and set it as the black. Now this is black and it is different from the group box itself. So this is the result. Now let's delete this, come over here and select this one, also get inside the black color. So it looks better and amazing. Now let's design the student registration form. It's really simple. Just come to the toolbox and here I have the label. You can see the label over here. Then I have the text box and this is the text box and put it over here. So resize it up to this. And the name of it is first name. So let's come to the properties and change it to the first name. So this is first name and I can easily select this and resize it up to here or move it a little bit back. This. Now let's copy this and paste it over here inside my group box. So come over here and paste it. And let's select this and change it to last name like this, the last name, and also paste it over here. Right, the next one is in fact the mobile or cell number, so this is the result. And also I can add the next one and change it to something else like the address or email. Email is good and great. And after that, I have the next one, paste it over here, and it is something else, like the address. This is the address, and it looks great and amazing. Also, I can select this and move it anywhere that we want, and select all of this, and move it like this. And also, I have another property. If you take a look, currently, the text boxes are at the top of the labels. I can right click over here and send to back, print to front, and send to back. So it is over here and my labels are at the top of my text boxes. Or I can select this and change it to the bring to front like this. And also I can move them to the end easily and quickly. Well done. Now my mission is accomplished and it's time to add something like this over here and come to the toolbox at the bottom. Where are you, button? This is the button. Put it over here and this is the save button. Also I have another one, copy and paste over here and name it exit. So this is exit button and I have something like this, exit, and save changes like this. Come over here and name it save changes. So I have the save changes and the exit button. Now for better results, I can add some images over here. It's really simple and straightforward. Just come over here and open up your Google and get inside the iconfinder.com, save, then use the 32 in 32 pixels. And the result is like this. I have two images for the save and the exit. And it is inside the downloaded folder, the images, the student rec project. So I can copy both of these like this and get inside the project. I have two options. First, I can add the image directly from this and come to the property this is and get inside the local resource and import it. This is the first method. Or let's talk about another method, and it is the resources. If I take a look and come over here, this is the properties, or right click on the project, get inside the properties like this. If I take a look over here after a couple of seconds, here I have the resources. Let's come over here and this is resources and create or open the resources. And over here I have the type of the resource. I can select the strings and change it to the images. Now I can add any image that I want over here. Just paste it inside it. Indeed, these images will be saved inside the executable file folder if you add it to the resources. The resources is great if you have some fixed images and want to use it multiple times. For instance, I have the save and I want to use it multiple times inside the project. Then paste it inside the resources and start working with it without any problem. Now if I take a look, this is the student, and come over here, select the first button and the name. Let's change it to the save button or save button. And also this is change it to the exit button or exit button. Don't forget to assign the dedicated name and the unique name to your elements, like the buttons. So this is the save changes. And if I take a look over here, I have the image. Come over here and click on this. Wow, what happened? The error. If you got the errors, don't worry about anything and just try to focusing on the meaning of the error. You can see up to here and the res x is not valid resource. It means we need to save the resources. So come over here, let's select this and save it. After saving, now I can start using it. And let's select this, come to the image. And after that, get inside the project resource. You can see the project resource. And this is the save button. So save button. And also, if I take a look on the images, both of these are 32 in 32 pixels. And I can easily come over here, come to the properties, and get inside it in the details. 32 in 32 pixels. So come to this, and after that select the save button. Now my image is at the center. Previously we talked about this matter and how to fix it. I can come over here and change the font to something smaller, like the 10 or 11. This is the save changes. And I can come over here, the image align. Let's set it to the left side like this. And also I have the text align, and this is the text align. Let's set it to the right center, and I can easily select this and put it over here. And also I have the exit, so let's select the exit and change the font like this. And after that, if I take a look, I have the image. This is the image and this is the exit. So the exit is over here. After that, it is at the center. Let's set it to the next one by image align and the exit. So I have the text line and name it over here, the right side. Also, I can select this a little bit and move it here. And also move this one over here. Now let's run and let's see the results. Wow, what happened? This is the old form, and let's close this. If you want to change the startup form, it's really simple. Just get inside the program.cs. You can see it is over here. And I have the application run, the new form one. It's time to change it to something else. And it is the student reg. So let's write a student. And you can see the student autocomplete over here, a student reg. Don't forget to add the parentheses. And if I run, I can see the great and amazing result. Let's be patient. So it's done. Now I can start working with it easily and quickly. So let's select the tab order. It's working without any problem, like this. Well done. Now we learned how to create the student registration form easily and quickly like the wind. So it is really simple and a straightforward example. So my mission is accomplished successfully for designing the applications. And the next step is time to start writing the first C# code. Let's talk about it in the upcoming tutorial. Go ahead and open up your project and start designing your own student registration form. Thanks and thanks goodness. Hi, welcome. In this video, I want to show you how to easily start writing the first C# code in the Visual Studio. So let's see. First, we talked about how to add the first project. So I have the first project over here. To start my tutorial, I added the form and also the button inside it. So if you select the form and it is the first code cs.cs, select that, come to the properties. At the first step, I changed the text then start position, set it to center screen, and disable the minimize and maximize boxes like this. In addition, we need to change the startup form. So come to the program and change it from here. Don't hesitate to add the parentheses at the end. So let's come to this one. In addition, I added the simple button and its name is show MSG button. And you can say show MSG button. And the text is show message. At the first step, I'm going to show you how to write your beginning code in the C#. It's really simple and it's straightforward. Just double click over here on your button. And if I take a look over here, I have the show message button, click. We call this as the event. And the name of my event is this, and the situation or the condition is this one. So this part means hello C#, please run the codes inside the curly braces or my event when the user click on the show message box button. After that, every code inside the curly braces will be executed. We call the entire structure as the event or the method. So let's come over here and start writing the code. Don't forget to add the curly braces here, and the code should be inside it. So at the first step, I can write message box. You can see the message box over here. Add dot. Now I can get access to the methods and properties of the message box, the show. Click on it, add parentheses. As you see, I have up to 21 different overloads. We call each one overload or the condition or the type. And let's come over here and create. If I increase this number, you can see the different overloads or conditions, and you can see something like this easily and quickly. Number 2, number 3 up to the end. I want to work with the most simple one. So the most simple one indeed is this one. It has only one parameter. We call this one as parameter, and it is a string. A string means the text. So at double quotations, this is the rule. You need to add your text inside the double quotations, and don't forget to add the semicolon at the end. Let's say hi, I love you. And if I save everything and let's run the application easily and quickly. So click on this. Wow, what happened? Hi, I love you. This is the most simple message box that we can use it. In addition, we can add the comma over here and add the second parameter, and it is the caption. So it is a string. It means add double quotations here and say welcome. Now if I run, I can see the great and amazing result. So this is the second one. Hi, I love you, and the welcome over here. And also I can add more than one line of the code. For instance, I can come over here, copy and paste over here up to 3 times and say hi, I love you 1, then I love you 2. So if I run, I can see the result. But it's really important matter. We need to add the semicolon at the end of each line of the code. It's really important matter. So click over here, hi, I love you. Now the execution of the remaining codes is a stop, and we need to click on the OK button. Hi, I love you 1. This is indeed. Click OK. Hi, I love you 2. So I added up to 3 lines of the code. So it's done. Now let's talk about another tricky note. If you write the code wrong, something like this, or there is any error in your code, then I have the error window. Come to the view, this is the view, and error list or error window. As you see, I have one error over here, syntax error, and also if you hover on the welcome, it is syntax error and it has the comma expected. So it's really genius and smart. So I can add the comma over here. And also if you put the string outside of the double quotations, now if you hover on it, the name welcome doesn't exist in current context. So the name welcome doesn't exist in the current context. And if I save everything and close it like this, and if you click on this one, immediately I got the error location over here. So I can add the double quotation and cut this and put it inside the double quotations. So it's fixed easily and quickly. And also I have another tricky note. Let's talk about the rebuild and the killing. To do that, come over here, right click on this, open containing folder, then get inside the bin or binary debug.7. So I have all of these files. So if I take a look over here and put it at this site, and over here indeed, let's click over here. Great. Now let's talk about all of this. If you take a look over here in the build menu, I have the killing. If you kill in the project, all of these files will be deleted in the debug folder. This is the usage of the killing. And after that, I have the build. So if you build it, everything will be built over here, and my executable file will be added over here, and if I click on it, I can easily run it. In addition, we have the rebuild. If you click on the rebuild, first all of these will be deleted, then the build process will be executed. So if you take a look, rebuild all selected, so it is the highest speed computer, so I can see the deletion over here. And if I take a look, so we have the killing, the build, and the rebuild. Sometimes it's really great idea to use the rebuild or killing. Why? Because after running the application, something like the debug, I can see anything over here, or I can see the changes over here. In these situations, you need to use the rebuild, or you can clean the project, so it's cleaned, and after that come to the build, or you can directly use the rebuild to delete everything, then build the project. Also, we have the debug over here, and it is inside this, and start debugging. The debug mode is for finding and solving the errors inside the application. So the same result over here, the build, and I can easily come over here, get inside the build, killing the project, so it is cleaned. Now come and run the application as debug mode, so everything is added over here, and this is the power of the debug. And also I have the output window over here that you can see the different information about the build process up to the end, up to over here. And if I rebuild it, I can see better. Let's rebuild that. So it's added over here, and as you see, it's deleted one more time and created from scratch, and the result is this one up to here. Build started and build succeeded. Okay, I enjoyed it a lot. Now we learned how to start writing the first C# code in the Visual Studio. Go ahead and open up your project and start writing your own codes. Thanks and thanks goodness. Hi, welcome. In this video, I want to quickly talk about the comment in the C#. So let's see. Generally speaking, we have two main usages for the comments: adding the description to the C# code, skip running the C# code. Let's talk about the first one, adding description to the C# code. Suppose I have these lines of the code, but I didn't add any description to the codes. And if you work in the big group or group of the programmers, it's really great idea adding some description about the code to help all the programmers. So I can come over here and add some comments like this. And after that, let's write, and it is a show message box to the user like this. In addition, we can add the comments at the end of each line. For instance, over here or over here. I can come over here and add some comment. For instance, welcome, MSG. And also, it's really great to add the separator like this for separating the codes from the remaining. For instance, I can add two lines, and also I can add equals like this, and also copy this and paste it over here exactly. So let's select this and delete that. Now I have more description over here, and after that over here, as you see. And also I have the separator over here and also over here. This is the power of the message box. And if I take a look over here, in the next one is skip running the C# code, single line or multi-line. So suppose I don't want to show both of these message boxes to the user. I can easily come over here and add some comment like this. Or I can come to the toolbox over here and add the text editor and check this checkbox. Come over here and select this one, comment and uncomment. So let's select both of this like this and comment them easily and quickly. Now if I run the application, I can see the result. Let's be patient. So click over here, hi, I love you, and nothing. Indeed, the commenting of the codes will skip execution the commented lines of the codes. And this is really tricky. Sometimes we need to stop execution of the codes, and the comment is great idea and the solution. And in addition, if I take a look, let's uncomment this like this and uncomment indeed like this one. Easily I uncommented the lines of the codes. And after that, we can add the multi-line comment. So let's come over here and open up the project. Suppose I wanna comment all of these codes. It's really simple and straightforward. Just come over here and at the beginning, add the slash, and then add the asterisk like this. And at the end over here, for instance, suppose I wanna comment up to this one, I can easily add the asterisk, then the slash, and everything will be commented easily and quickly. Or even I can come over here and start both of these. Come to this and add the slash, then the asterisk, and the asterisk slash at the end of the codes. So it is really simple and straightforward. Also, you can put it over here. As you see, both of these lines are commented. So we learned many great tips and tricks about how to start working with the comments in the real world project. Now open up your project and start working with the comment. Thanks and thanks goodness. Hi, welcome. In this video, I want to show you how to easily start writing the C# code to change the back color and also the text color of the controls and the form. So let's take it. First, we talked about how to show the message box. In addition, I added two buttons over here for faster result. This is the simple button, change back color. You can see its name is back color button. And also the next one is text color button. And the text is change text color, and the next one is change back color. In the next step, let's write the C# code. To do that, come over here, and suppose I want to change the back color of this one, and it is a show message bot. So let's come over here, come to this, and before doing anything, let's write the name and show. This is, if I take a look, show message button, click on it, and after that add dot and the color. Which color? The back color. So this is the back color, equals to what? Equals to the color, then add dot. I can get access to any color that I want from here. For instance, let's write the red, and this is the red. Also, I have the dark red, Indian red, and medium violet red, and up to the end. Let's select the red itself. And don't forget to add the semicolon at the end. And also if I come over here, and the next one is change text color. So its name is text color button. I want to change the text color of this. Show message button. So come over here. And in the next step, let's write show. And this is the show button. Add dot. Then the for color. This is the for color. Equals color dot. I can select the white for better result like this. Don't forget to add the semicolon at the end. Now if I run the application, I can see the great and amazing result. Now let's go over here, and this is the message, change back color. So the back color is changed, and also change text color like this. Now we know how to change the back color and also the text color. Let's assign it to the form. It's very simple and straightforward. If I take a look over here, this is my form, Let's be patient, or I can close it, come over here and view designer. It was the back of the Visual Studio. So let's select the form. It is the first code CS, and come over here and change the back color of the form. To do that, I can easily say the back color. So this is the back color, and equals to color at dot, and the, for instance, the green. This is the green, yellow green, and at the semicolon. And also I have the next one, and it is the text color. I can change the text color. So come over here and say for color. The for color of the, if I take a look of the form, equals to what? Equals to color and the red. For instance, I want to change the text color to the red. Now this code will change the text color of the form and any children inside it. The next one, change the back color of the form itself. Now if I run, I can see the great and amazing result. So click on this, change back color. Wow, what happened? Everything is changed, and also change text color. So any control inside my form got the red text color over here. Why? Because the form is the parent of all of this. And if you change the text color of the form, then all of the controls inside it will get the text color until you assign the dedicated text color to the control, something like this. And the text color of this button is white, and it is not the red like the remaining buttons, because we added the dedicated text color to this button. So if you don't want to assign automatically the text color of the form to these buttons, don't hesitate to assign the dedicated text color to this. It's very simple and straightforward. Well done. Now we've learned how to write the C# code to change the color and also for color of the form and the controls. Go ahead and open up your project and follow my instructions. Thanks, and thanks goodness. Hi, welcome. In this video, I want to show you how to easily start writing the C# code to change the text of the button and also the form. So let's dig in. First, we talked about how to change the text color and also the back color. In the next step, let's change the text of the button and also the form. To do that, I added this button. It is simple button, and its text is change text, and also its name is change text button. So click over here and start changing. Also, you can get the name from here, change text button. So come over here and say change text button. This is add dot and the text. So this is the text equals to double quotations and the semicolon. I love you. And if I run, I can see the great and amazing result. So click over here, hi, I love you. And let's add some space over here. Great. And the next step is time to write the C# code to change the text of the form. It's really simple. Just come over here. Now let's write text, and indeed this text is the text of the form. You can see the form.text. So text equals to what? Hi, I hate you. And this is I hate you. So height and love, both of these are required for the normal life. Now let's run and let's see the result. So let's click on the text and you can see I hate you, I love you. So it's done. In addition, I can, for faster finding the buttons, I can come over here and write this. This means this form add dot. Now I can get access to all the properties and events of the form itself. Also, I can easily write change and I can get access to the change text button and add dot, then the text property of it easily and quickly. So don't hesitate to learn the usage of this. This means this form, and for faster finding the objects and controls inside the form, I'm gonna use this one, this. And in addition, I can come over here and say this, and after that, the text property. The text property of this form. And this is the result. It's very simple and straightforward. Also, I can use it for the previous codes, like the for color. I can say this for color, and this is this for color. And also, I can add it over here. This, the show message button, like this. Everything is really simple and straightforward. And if I run the application, the result is similar to previous one. So let's run, click over here, and also to this on the text color. Everything is working great and amazing. Well done. Now we learned how to change the text of the form and also the button. It's very simple and straightforward. Go ahead and open up your project and follow instruction of this tutorial. Thanks and thanks goodness. Hi, welcome. In this video, I want to show you how to easily write the C# code to enable and disable the controls. Now, let's dig it. To speed up my tutorial, I added two buttons, one for enable, and it is enable button, and the next one is disable button. So let's start working with the first one, the enable. Suppose I want to enable or disable this. If you select the button, its name is change text button. And over here, I have the enable property. So if we set it to false, then it will be enabled, and we need to run the application to see the result. And also, if you set the enable to true, it means the control is enabled. So let's come over here and select this one, set the enable to false by default. And if I run, I can see the result. Currently, I have disabled the button by the designer, by the properties in the designer. So this is the result. Now let's come over here and enable that. It's really simple and it's straightforward. The name of this button, if I take a look, is the change text button. So come over here. Now let's start this. So I set up my coding and the change what? Change the text button. Which property? Add dots the enable property. Enabled equals to true. This is really simple and straightforward. This line means hello C#, please enable the change text button easily and quickly. Now let's go over here and copy this and get inside the next one. So copy and paste over here for the disable button and set it to the false like this. Now if I run, I can see the great and amazing result. So this is the enable button and this is the event of the disable button. Enable, disable, enable, disable. So it's working completely. Also, I can add the group over here and put all of this inside the group and enable or disable the group box. So come over here and come to this one. If I take a look, let's close this and get inside the designer one more time. So come to the toolbox and add the group box. Before adding the group box, it's a really great idea to select all of this, right click and cut. Now come to the toolbox after a couple of seconds. Get inside the toolbox and the group box. First, we talked about the group box and how to use it for grouping the elements and controls inside. So this is the group box. I can easily select that and move it. Don't forget to select the group box first and paste it inside it. Now if I select, I can move it anywhere that I want. So it is group box. Let's say details. And this is the text only. Now if I take a look, I have the same property, the enabled for the group box. I can easily change it by the enable button and also the disable button. Come over here and let's copy this part and paste it over here. Instead of the change text button, I need to use the group box. So its name is group box 1. If I take a look over here and select this, its name is group box 1. You can see the group box 1 over here. And let's copy this and paste it over here and easily assign it to the false like this. Now if I run, I can see the great and amazing result. So if I enable this, you can see it's enabled and disabled. The disable will disable all of the elements inside the group box. Indeed, if you click on the disable, at the first step, the C# will disable the group box itself. And the group box in this example is the parent of these buttons. So all of these buttons will be disabled automatically. And this is the meaning of inheritance. If I assign same property to the parent, then the same property will inherit to the children. Also, we assign the same property to the dedicated element or the control. So this is the exact meaning of the inheritance, and it means the properties of the parent, in this example is group, inherit to all the controls inside it until you assign the dedicated property to the selected child inside the parent. So enable and disable. Well done. Now we learned many great tips and tricks about how to enable and disable the controls using the C#. Thanks and thanks goodness. Hi, welcome. In this video, I want to show you how to easily start writing the C# code to show and hide the control inside the form. So let's begin. Firstly, we talked about the enable and disable. Despite of this, we have another property and it is visible. Let's select this button, and if I scroll down, I have the visible. Its type is true or false or boolean. So if I take a look, currently it is true. As the result, my button is visible. If I set it to the false and run it, I can't see the button anymore. Let's be patient. So it's invisible or hidden. So cover here and let's do it in the C# code. The name of this button is important. First, let's select this and get the name. Its name is change text button. And add two buttons. This is the show button and the text over here. The next one is the hide button. You can see the hide button over here. To start my tutorial, I added both of these previously. So come over here and click on the show and say this, and after that change text button dot which property. First we talked about the enable property. This time let's write visible property equals, this is the show button. You can see the button name over here. So let's set it to the true, and let's copy this, come to the next button. This is height, so let's set the height to this by assigning the fonts to the visible property. Now if I run, I can see the great and amazing result. So show height, and also I can enable this and hide, show height. In addition, we can assign the same property to the group box itself. So this is the group box. If I select that and check the name, you know what? Checking the name at the beginning is really important step. Don't forget to check the name first, then get to start working with it. So I can't see anything. Yes, it's done. And now if I select this, its name is group box 1. Now let's go over here inside the show button. So let's copy this part and paste over here to stop my tutorial and change it to the group box 1, and also copy this and paste over here and set the visual property to the false like this. Now if I run, I can see the great and amazing result. So show height, also I can enable show height easily and quickly. Well done. Now we learned many great tips and tricks about how to show and hide the control inside the form. Go ahead and open up your project and start working with the visible property. Thanks and thanks goodness. Hi, welcome. In this video, I want to show you how to easily start working with the date and time inside the C# codes. So let's begin. To start my tutorial, I added the simple form over here. This is the simple form, and I have assigned the text, then the start position, and also I disabled the minimize and the maximize boxes. And after that, I get inside the program, and then change the startup form like this, the datetime form or FRM. You know what, if you want to get the date and time in the C#, there is really simple methods to do that. Don't mix up yourself from all of these controls over here. The reality is really simple and straightforward. Let's start working with the date time. Suppose I want to get the date and time and show it over here. So it is date and time text box, and this is date time button. If I click on this, come over here, I have the date time button 1. So at the beginning, let's write this and date and time text box. This is the date time text box. Which property? The text property equals to what? If I hide this and this one. So we have the date time class, date time, and this is the date time. You can see it over here. Then add dot, and after that I have the now and all of this over here. But the only thing I need is using the now over here. The now will get the date and time together. So let's select this, and we need to convert it to a string, then assign it to the text. It's an important matter. We can't directly assign the now to the text because the now is not a string. Then convert it to a string, then assign it to the text of my text box. Really simple and straightforward. Let's run the application and let's see the result. So come over here, and this is what happened. Easily I could get the date, then the time over here. It's really simple and straightforward. And also, if I take a look over here, I can get that one more time and click on this each 1 second to update the second. You can see it's updated over here. In the next step, let's get the date and time individually. So come over here and come to this one. This is the text box, and it is in the date text box. And also I have the time text box over here. So let's come over here and select the date text box. If you got something like this error over here, save everything, close it, and open it one more time. This is the bug of the Visual Studio. So let's select this, and its name is date text box, and this is the time text box. So click on this, and it is the date button. Let's say this date text box. This is the date text box. Which property? The text property equals date time, and after that dot now. This is the now. Before adding it to a string, add dot, and here I have the date. So if I scroll down, I have the date over here. Get the date component of the date time. So let's select this, the date. And after that, we need to convert it to a string, and then assign it to the text easily and quickly. Also, let's come over here and select the next one. This is the time text box, and click on this. So let's select this, copy, and paste over here to start my tutorial. Instead of the date, I can say time and time of the day, then convert it to a string. Now let's come over here and change this one to the time. So this is the time text box easily and quickly. Come over here and come to this one. After a couple of seconds, everything will be done. So click over here, then the date, then the time over here. But as you see, I have the date here and the default time over here. We can easily fix this problem by using the custom format. So come over here and come to this one. Before assigning it to a string over here, you can see the date text box text date to a string. I can easily add the double quotations inside the to a string and add the format. It's very simple. For the date, I can say DD stand for the day, 2 digits day, and after that add a slash, or you can use the hyphen like this, no worries. And after that, the month, uppercase M for the month. You can see month, 2 digits. Then add the slash n lowercase y up to 4y over here. 4y means year, 4 digits, or 4 digits year. And don't forget to use the uppercase M for the month, lowercase for the day and the year. Now if I run, I can see the great and amazing result. Click on this, and this one. But as you see over here, I have the microsecond like this. I can easily format the time like the dates. So come over here. Now before converting the date time now, time of date to a string, I can easily format that. But we need to delete the time of day and directly convert the now to the hour. So come over here. And like the date, I can easily add the double quotations inside the two string parentheses. So I want to work with the 24 math hours. So let's select this and use the uppercase for 24-hour clock. And also I have lowercase for 12-hour clock. 2 digits indeed. So add the colon. And here I have all of these over here. It's very simple. Just say the M, it stands for minute. Lowercase m for the minute. And after that the colon. And here I have the second. So let's write the S for the second. You can see the S over here 2 times for 2 digits second, like this. Now it looks great and amazing. And if I run, I can see the great and amazing result. So this is the result. You can see 20, 55, and 31. So it's working without any problem. Also, if you don't want to use the 24 hours format, you can use the lowercase like this, the hour. Then let's see the result. So the result is like this, the 12 o'clock format. Now let's talk about the next one. And the next one is day of month. So let's come over here. You know what? Working with the date and time is really simple and straightforward. Everything is obvious in the codes and also in the design of the form. So this is day of month and click on it, day of month. So let's write this, day of month, button, and also the text box, day of month, text box, add dot, the text property. Now I have the date time and now, and up to here, add dot, and day of month. So I can easily say the day of month. This is the day, and it is the day of month, and it is integer. So let's select this, the day, and convert that to a string, and then the semicolon. And also the next one, if I take a look, is this, it is a month. So let's select this, click on it, and come to this one and copy and paste it over here. So it is the month and the month text box. And it is, if I take a look, let's check it one more time. And this is the get month text box 1. So it is get month text box 1. This is, click on it and come over here. And in the next step, I need to get the month. So this is the month, get the month of the instance or the now. So let's select the month. And after that, if I take a look, I have the next one, and it is get year text box to get the year individually. So let's copy this and come over here and say get, and after that, get year. So if you haven't the get year, yes, I have it over here, the get year text box, easily and quickly. Now let's select this and change it to the year. So this is the year number, and if I run, I can see the great and amazing result. Let's version. So click on this, get the day of month 20, the month itself, and get year 2023. Everything is working perfectly. And for the last option, I have the get hour, minute, and the second. It's very simple and straightforward. So come over here and come to this one. So let's be patient. This is the bug, as I mentioned many times. Let's close that and open it from scratch. View designer. So let's select this, hour text box. The next one is minute text box, and the last one is second text box. Let's just start working with the hour. So let's select this, copy and paste it over here. And it is the hour text box. This is And also over here, I need to use the hour. This is the hour. And if I take a look in the next one, so this is the minute text box. Come over here and copy this one and paste it over here and name it minute text box. This is the minute text box, and this is minute, like this. And also if I take a look, I have the next one, and it is the second. So this is the second. I can easily copy this and paste over here and change this one to the second. So second text box, and also this one to the second easily and quickly. Now if I run, I can see the great and amazing result. So let's get the hour, 21, 0 minutes, and also 51, and exactly this one. As you see, the second, and also if I get the second, so it is 21, 1, and 0. Okay, I enjoyed a lot. Now we learned how to work with the information of the date and time, including the date and time, the date, and the time. Open up your project and start working with the date time. Thanks and thanks goodness. Hi, welcome. In this video, I want to show you how to easily start writing the code in the C# to create the digital clock. So let's do it. To start my tutorial, I added the clock form over here, and also I added some common properties. Come to the properties. As you see, it is at the center screen. Then show icon false, minimum box and maximum box are false. So let's come over here and get inside the solution. Also, we need to change the startup form to the new form, and it is over here inside the program. Change it like this. Now let's get inside the clock and come to the toolbox and add the label. So this is my label, and I want to add it to this form. So let's resize it like this. Before doing anything, it's a great idea to set the auto size to false. Now I can freely and easily resize this up to here. So this is the label. Come to the properties and the text align. Let's set it to middle center. This is, and also I have the font property. So let's change it to something like 48 and also make it bold. And this is the result. Let's come over here and change the text to, for instance, 20, 45, and the second like 59. Now it looks like this. And also I can select this, make it a little bit smaller, and also come to the properties and decrease the font size, for instance, up to 40. And this is the result. It looks better now. Now let's select the label, and I have the fore color over here. This is the fore color. Set it to the white from here, and also let's select the label, get inside the properties and the back color. I have the back color over here. Let's change the back color to the black like this. And also let's select the form, come to the properties and the back color. Let's set it to the black like the label. This is the black. Now it looks better, and I can move it a little bit down, and everything is ready for me. First, we talked about how to get the time. So this is the time. Click on it. I need to get this code. If you don't know anything about this, don't hesitate to watch my previous tutorial about how to work with the date time. Double click on the form, and inside the form load event, exactly over here, paste the code. Now if I take a look, I have the next, and this is the label. Let's name it time label. Click over here. Now let's come to the next one, clock over here. Great. Now let's select this and change it to the time label. You can see the time label over here, and also the definition and the code for to show the time like this. But I prefer to use this one and add the uppercase H for the 24-hour clock. Now if I run, I can see the great and amazing result. The clock load will be executed after loading the form. So I have something like this over here, and like this inside my computer time. But the second is not refreshing, and also the minute. We need to use another code to repeat the code in this part to refresh the time. To do that, I have good news for you, and it is the timer. You can easily start working with the timer to repeat some actions. So let's go this and view designer. So this is the clock design, and I can put it over here. Now let's come to the toolbox and say the timer. This is the timer. And if you put it on the form, the timer hasn't any interface. So the Visual Studio added over here. Now come to the timer and let's name it clock timer. And after that I have enabled, let's enable that. And also I have the interval. You know what? The main duty of the timer is repeating the code after the interval or the time. So by default, this 100, let's name it 1000. 1000 interval means 1 second because the unit of this is millisecond. 1000 millisecond means 1 second. So the codes inside the timer exactly over here will be repeated after the interval. And currently my interval is 1000. I can copy this and paste it over here. So it's done. Now it's time to run the application and test the result. Don't forget to enable the timer. It's really important matter. Now it's working without any problem. And the timer, as I mentioned, repeats the code inside it each 1 second in this example or based on the interval. For instance, I can come over here, select this and select the timer after a couple of seconds. So I have the interval over here. I can easily change it to 2000. Now if I run, I can see the great and amazing result. So the result is this clock and refresh each 2 seconds. So 34, 36, 38, and also the 40. Each 2 seconds, the timer executes the time codes over here. And let's set it back to the 1000 because I want to assign the 1 second to it. Now go over here and change this one to 1000 or 1 second. And don't forget to enable the timer before doing anything. And if I run, I can see the final result. So I have this digital timer and it looks great and amazing. Well done. Now we learned how to create the digital clock easily and quickly. So open up your project and start creating your own digital clock. Thanks and thanks goodness. Hi, welcome. In this video, I want to show you how to easily start working with the variables, especially the string variable. So let's begin. At the beginning, let's talk about the definition of the variable. The variable is the container or the box for storing data values. So it is some kind of box or container that we can put the values inside it. And we have the box something like this over here. As I say, I have the name for my variable and also the type for that. Finally, I have the value something like this, the eye color, the blue. And the definition in the C# is really simple. The type over here, it is a string or the text. Then I have the variable name. And finally, I have the variable value easily and quickly. So let's do it in the action. Come over here and open up my project. To start my tutorial, I added the form. So this is the form. You can see it's variables and also assign the start position, set it to center screen. Then the text, the minimize and maximize to the false. And also I need to get inside the program.cs and change the startup form to the variables. Now if I run, I can see the simple project. So this is the result. I have the button without any codes inside it. And after that, this is my button and this is the text box itself. So this text box is MSG and also this is show message button. Now let's come over here and suppose I want to show the message box to the user easily and quickly. So this is the event for my button, and if I come over here, let's define the new message box and dot show, and this is hi. Let's add hi, and after that add the semicolon. This is the simple message box, and if I take a look, I can see the result. So click on this hi, but I haven't anything after the hi. In addition, I have the text box over here. You can see the text box here. So I can start working with it. Before doing anything, let's select this, close it to fix the bug of the Visual Studio. Now I have the text box over here, MSG. I want to show the content of it over here. So add the free space here, then add plus, this, and the MSG text box. Which property? The text property of my text box. Now I have the hi plus this one, and if I run the application, so come over here and say for instance Mike. So click on this hi Mike. Now suppose I want to show another message, and let's come over here and let's say I love you, then the mic, and after that let's add the next one. So what is your last name? This, and after that I can add the question mark like this. So if I run, I can see the great and amazing result. So let's type Mike and copy that for later using and show it. Hi Mike, the first line. Then I have the I love you Mike. You can see it over here. And finally I have what is your last name Mike. So I have, if I take a look over here, I repeated this part, this message box text over here, here, and here. I repeated this one up to 3 times, but that's not really great idea. Instead of using the text box text, I can define the variable. So the structure is really simple. We need to write the variable type. I can work with the string integer up to the end, but my favorite one is a string in this example. Text plus numbers. We can put the text and numbers inside it. This is the real world example. The type is a string. And after that, add a space, then variable name. The name should be English letters, and also it can't be totally numbers. Equals the variable value. And here I have the string, the type of variable. Then I have the variable name. You can see it over here. And after that equals, finally the variable value, and the mic is variable value, or I can say name is iColor and the value is blue. So let's define the new variable and put all of the data inside it, then use it instead of the text box.text. So at the top, let's write a string. This is the string, and name it MSG. So it is MSG. Now the value for that. Now let's copy this part and paste it over here. Then the semicolon. Don't forget to add it at the end. So I have the string and its value is the text indeed. And also if I take a look, now I have this one. Let's delete that and say MSG. So replace the next one with MSG and the next one with MSG over here up to this one, MSG. So instead of using the full code, this MSG textbox.text, I define the new variable and its type is a string, and we can write anything inside it, including the numbers or characters. Then I use the MSG variable instead of the full text over here, here, and here. And this is the power of the variable. So if I run, I can see the same result. It's very simple and straightforward. So let's start, for instance, Mike. And here I have the show message, hi Mike. Then I love you Mike. And what's your last name Mike? So everything is working in the best manner. Well done. Now we learned more about the string variables and also the structure of the variables. So open up your project and start working with the string variable. Thanks and thanks goodness. Hi, welcome. In this video, I want to show you how to easily start working with another variables, and it is int32 and int64, or integer and the long. So let's begin. First, we talked about the string and how we can define it. In addition, if you want to work with the numbers, you need to use the appropriate type. The most common is integer or int32, and the next one is long or int64. So let's do it with the real world application. Come over here and come to this one. To start my tutorial, I added all of these. You can easily add, and the first one is num1, the next one is num2, and this is the result. And also let's do it with the int32 or with the int64. So this is the sum, and let's name it, for instance, sum32, and this is sum. Let's write sum 64 like this. Now let's do it in the action. Suppose I have two numbers, one for this, the second one this one. I want to calculate the sum of these numbers and write it over here. It's really simple and straightforward. So let's click over here and come to this one and say this, and after that the sum or the result. In the result text box, which property? The text property equals to what? Equals to this, and the num1 dot text plus this num2 dot text, and don't forget to add the semicolon at the end. Now I want to add this one to the second one and assign it to the result. Now if I run, I can see the great and amazing result. So come over here and write, for instance, this number plus this number and create the sum. So what happened? This is the first number up to here, and this is the second number up to here. So this is not the actual summarizing of the two numbers. So we need to define another variable if you want to add them inside your codes, and it is using the integer, or for the big numbers, long or int64. Let's talk more about the integer or int32. Come over here, and if I take a look in the Google, so I have the int32 in C#, and it is the numbers between negative 2 billion up to positive 2 billion. This is really a small number in the programming world. Negative 2 billion up to positive 2 billion. And if I take a look, the int64, it's really big number, and it is non-quantillion, negative non-quantillion up to positive quantillion. So this is really big number. So my number is not too big, and I can easily start adding them using the int32. So I can do it and come over here, come to this one. Before doing anything, it's time to define the int32. So this is the int32, and after that name it, for instance, the fn, or first number. Let's write first number, and also I can copy this and paste it over here and name it second number. Also I can come over here and define the next one. It's not necessary, but you can define that and say the sum number or result, and result number or the result is not important matter. So it's time to assign the values one by one. Let's add something like this over here to organizing the code. And after that, come over here and come to this one. Let's set up the project. Now let's assign this one to the first number and this one to the second number. So I have the first number, and this is the first number, equals to what? Equals to this one. Copy and paste over here. This is my first number, but I got this error. If you have run it, can't convert the string to the integer. It means we need to use another matter or converter to convert the text to the int32. It's really important matter. So let's come over here and come to this and say int32 dot the parse. I have the parse and also I have the try parse. Let's start working with the first one, and it is parse. Parse means convert. Convert this one, the parentheses, as you see over here. It has up to 6 different overloads. So the first one is most simple one, and it needs only one parameter, and it is a string and as the text, and this is the result. Now my number is converted to the integer and assign it to this one. And also I can come over here, copy and paste it over here, add some comment or better result like this. Now the second number, so I can easily say second number, and also instead of this I can copy this and paste it over here, the num2 Textbox. Now it's time to add both of them over here. It's really simple and straightforward. I have the result, so let's write result. It's really great to add the t over here. So this is the result. Result equals the first number plus the second number. This is the second number. Don't forget to add the semicolon. So I have the result, and it's time to use it over here easily and quickly. So let's type result and do it. But I got another error, and if you have run it, can't convert int to a string. It means this is integer, and I can't convert it to the text because the text is a string, as you see over here, but the result is int. So we need to convert the result to a string like this. Now add parentheses easily and quickly. Now if I take a look over here and let's see the result. So let's start, for instance, 3 and 5 and some. So it's working perfectly. But as I mentioned previously, there is the limitation for the int32 variables and numbers. So it is between -2 billion up to +2 billion. Now if I come over here and write 3 billion plus this, if I click on that, I got this error. Value is too large or too small for int32. So it is a really big number for that. As the result, we can't use the int32 for the numbers bigger than 2 billion or bigger than this one, and also smaller than this one. So my number is about 3 billion, and we need to use another code for calculating the big numbers more than int32, and it is the int64, and we can use it to calculate the -9 quintillion up to +9 quintillion. It's really big number. So come here and come to this one. Let's stop it and come to this and click on this button easily and quickly. If you can't work with the buttons anymore in the designer or got this error, this is the bug of the Visual Studio. So double click on this and I can easily close that and open it from scratch. Now click over here, and it is for calculating the int64. So let's copy all of this and paste it over here. At the first step, instead of the int32, it's time to use int64. So this is the result. Copy this and paste it over here and also over here, int64. And also I have the convert or parse over here. Don't forget to change the int32 to the int64. Now the remaining codes are similar. We need to add them, then convert it to a string and assign it to the text property of the result. Now let's go over here and let's use the big numbers. So let's write big number like this up to this and calculate with the int64. So it's done without any error or the problem. Also, you can add something like this over here and so. So it's working without any restriction. Indeed, we can add the results or numbers up to 9 quintillion, and it's really big number. Okay, well done. Now we learned how to work with the int32 and int64. Indeed, we are over here. In the next step, it's time to talk about other variables. It's time consuming, so stay with me. Thanks and thanks goodness. Hi, welcome. In this video, I want to show you how to easily start working with the decimal variables, including the float, the double, and also the decimal. Let's start working with the float. The float is in between this number up to this number, and its precision is 6 up to 9 digits. Let's start working with it at the first step. Come over here and come to this one. To start my tutorial, I added the float, the double, and also the decimal. Now, this is the first num or num1, num2, and num3. Let's double click over here in the float. To start my tutorial, I want to copy this part of the code from the Int64 up to here. Now, in the next step, it's time to use the float. So this is the float. You can see it over here. And after that, the next one is float and float. And also, this is in 60. Let's change it to the float and float variable. Now, all of these are floats, and I can start working with them. So if I take a look over here, let's be patient. Now, let's add some decimal number over here, and also another one over here. Now if I take a look, let's start working with the int32. So it is int32, but as you see, the input string is not in the correct format. So now we learned that we can assign the decimal number to the int32 variables, and also we can assign the decimal numbers to the int64 variables. It's very simple and it's straightforward. So come over here and come to the next one. Now let's work with the, for instance, decimal numbers like this. And also if I take a look, 3 dots point, and this is the result. Now if I click on the float, so the result is something like this. And after that, if I take a look over here, suppose I want to use really big decimal number like this. Let's see the reaction. So it is like this one, and it's rounded to the bigger number or something like that. And also I can come over here and let's assign the another number up to here, then add dot. Now I have something like this over here and some floats like this. Now it has up to 3 numbers after the decimal, and also I have up to this number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Up to 7 numbers after the decimal, and from here up to here after the decimal. So let's start working with the bigger than the float, and if I take a look over here, it is the double. The double is the number between this up to this one. It's really big number, and its precision is 15 up to 17 digits. Now let's come over here, come to this one, and after that I have the double button. Select this and come over here, copy and paste over here. Now this is float. Let's use the double. This is the double. The next one double. This double. And also this one double. This one double. Now all of these are the double. So let's see the result. Now let's write something like this up to this number. And if I click on the float, so the result is something like this number and the double. And the double is like this. So the double is really great for the really big decimal numbers. And if I take a look over here, you can see its range and also its precision up to here. Now suppose I want to work with the bigger decimal numbers. So the decimal is great for you, and it is between this number up to this number. and its precision is between 28 up to 29 digits. So go over and come to this one and get inside the code over here. Click on the decimal and copy the code, paste it over here. This is the decimal, so you can see the decimal here. Copy, paste it here, here, this, and finally this one. Now let's run and let's see the result. So come here and write something like this up to here, for instance, up to this number. And after that, write this number up to this one. Now if I calculate with the float, the result is less. Some double, the double is this, and some decimal. Decimal is the biggest number. Well done. Now we learned how to work with the double, decimal, and the float variables. So it's your turn. Go ahead and open up your project and start working with the numeric variables. Thanks and thanks goodness. Hi, welcome. And this video I want to show you how to easily start working with the Boolean variable. So let's see. Till now we talked about all of these variables and also the string variable. But in addition, we have the Boolean. The Boolean has only two assets, true or false. So we have the Boolean, you can see it over here, true or false. So let's do it. Come over here and come to the project. And let's select this one, and its name is result text box. If I scroll down, I have the enable property, and it is true or false. So we can use the Boolean to get access to it or assign the value to the enabled. And also, if I take a look, I have the next one, and it is visible. So it has only two options, true or false. So the visible also is the Boolean. Now let's go over here, click on this one, and let's name it the bool. This is the boolean or bool button. So it is bool or bool button. Now let's go over here, double click on the boolean, and let's say this, and after that the result. You can see the result text box over here, and then add dots and the enabled. So this is the enabled property. Now let's go over here and define the new boolean. This is the boolean, you can see it over here, and the name for that. Let's add the BL or boolean. Now let's go over here and write equals, and don't forget to add the semicolon. So I'm gonna get the enable property of the result text box and assign it to the BL as boolean. Now I have the boolean, and I can easily start working with it, or I can assign it to another button or another control. So come over here. Suppose I want to assign the enable property of the result text box to something else like this button. So this button is show message button. Now let's come over here and click on this and say this show button dot enabled equals BL, and assign the BL to the enabled property. Now let's get inside the designer over here and start running the project. Currently the text box is enabled, so if I click on the boolean, nothing will happen. Let's see the results. Let's come to the error list and over here exactly. Now let's add some curly braces over here. I deleted that by mistake. Now let's run and let's see the result. So click over here and write something inside it. Now click on this one, and you can see nothing happened here because the enable property of this text box is true. As the result, the show message button will be true, the enabled property. Now let's stop. Come over here and come to this one, and also I can close this and open it one more time. Now let's select the text box, come to the properties, and the enabled property, set it to false. Now if I take a look over here, run the application, and let's set the result. So if I take a look over here, Currently, my text box is not enabled and it is disabled over here. So if I take a look and click on this button, as you see, the enable property of the button changed to false. So we could get the current enable property of the result text box, give it to another variable, and assign it to another control, and it's done. And also I can come over here and suppose I want to this and the visible property. This is the visible property equals to what? Equals to the BL easily and quickly. Now let's run and let's see the result. So this is disabled as the result boolean. Wow, what happened? I lost my form. Why? Because of this line of the code. Now come over here and come to the task manager, and here I have the applications, and inside it I have the Visual Studio. Let's see, where is my application executable file? This wasn't. And the next one, if I take a look, this is my first app. You can see my first app over here, but it hasn't any icon on the taskbar. So let's go over here and stop it and let's check it. As you see, my application is closed successfully. Well done. Now open up your project and start working with the Boolean. Thanks and thanks goodness. Hi, welcome. In this video, I want to show you how to start working with the scope of the variable. So let's do it. Till now, we talked about how to define the different variables inside the click event of the buttons. For instance, this one is MSG, and after that, I have the next one. It is the first number, second number, and the result. But definition of all of these variables are inside the click event. Suppose I want to get access to the MSG outside of this button click. Now let's try if it's possible or not. This is the next button and write MSG. As you see, I can't get access to this and it is completely private. From here up to here, I can get access to it. Now if I take a look inside the same button click event, I can easily get the MSG. Why? Because this is the local variable and it's not public. So this is the really simple and straightforward. You can get access to message box exactly over here inside the click event of the show message button. But if you want to get access to it outside of the button click, you can easily make it public. So come over here and let's select this, copy and paste it over here. A string MSG, and don't forget to add the semicolon. Now I have the MSG and I don't need to define it over here. Let's delete that and like this. Now I can get access to MSG everywhere. For instance, this is outside. I can easily come over here and say the MSG easily and quickly. I can get access to it and I can easily assign the value to that like 1 or anything that you want. And also if I scroll down and at the bottom, I can get access to it. This is the MSG. So I can get access to it inside this or current file. And this is the meaning of the scope of variables. And the currently, if I take a look, this one is public and get access inside this class or inside this file. And if you want to get access to the message outside of the click event over here, don't hesitate to put it outside of the button, click exactly over here, or you can come and define it over here or over here. You are completely free. The only thing you need is to consider is this point that you need to add the definition of the variable outside of any buttons. Well done. Now we learned more about the scope of the variables. Thanks and thanks goodness. Hi, welcome. In this video, I want to show you how to easily start working with the if statement. So let's say, suppose you want to add the same kind of condition inside your code. Then the best option is using the if structure or if statement. The structure of the if is really simple and straightforward. Just write if, add parentheses, and inside it the condition. Then add the curly braces, put your quote if the condition is true over here between two curly braces. Also, I have else if the condition is false. So add the curly braces and write your code if the condition is false. So let's do it in the action. Come over here and come to this one. To start my tutorial, I added the new form. It is if for a statement. And also if you get inside the program, now let's select this and add the if for a statement, exactly this one. In addition, if I take a look over here, I have another button, and this is my button, and its name is calc button. I want to click on the calc button to calculate the age. This is the date of birth or birth date text box. And after that, it's time to get date of birth, then calculate the age. It's really simple. So let's select this, double click on it. At the beginning, let's convert the text of my text box to the integer. So let's write int or int32. And after that, name it the date of birth and date of birth or DOB. Then the DOB equals to what? Equals to this, and after that the text box. So this is the text box and my text box, birth text box. Which property? The text property. Currently, I assume that you watched my previous tutorial about the variables. So it's a really important matter to learn that. Then come over here and continue this video. So I have this one, and if I add the comma, I can't assign the text directly to the DOB. So you can see it over here, can't convert type string to integer. As I mentioned previously, it's really simple, and say int32, then add dot and the parse. This is the parse, and add it like this easily and quickly. Now I have the DOB or date of birth. It's time to calculate the age. Let's define the age, and it should be int32 and name it age. So the age equals to what? Equals to date and time, add dot, now, dot, and the year. So this is the year, and as you see, its type is integer or int. Get the year component of the date. Select this and assign it to the age, and this is the result. Now I have the current year. I need to subtract the DOB from the now year. It's very simple. So over here and say minus DOB or date of birth. So I have the age, and it's time to show it to the user. So let's say message box, add dot, show, and easily assign the age. Don't forget to convert it to a string because we need to do that easily. And don't forget to add also the parentheses at the end. Now it looks great, and if I add the semicolon and run the project. So come here and write something inside it like 19. Now let's calculate the age. It is 33 or 19, and if I come over here, 1980, and this is 43. It is my date of birth, 1980. So it is up to 43. Wow, I'm not the young boy anymore, and I am middle aged. So if I take a look over here, now I could create the age calculator. But if I take a look, I can add some kind of if structure to identify the age type. So I have the age over here. And if I say if age greater than 3, show this message box. You are middle aged. And also if the age is not greater than 3, go to the else and show this message box. You are young. Now let's come over here and add it to our project. So come to this and comment this one and get inside the next and say if double press the tab for automatically creating the if structure. So let's do it one more time. If double press the tab key on your keyboard. So the tab key is this one, the tab key. Double press it and this is the result. The if structure is auto-generated. So if the age is greater than the, for instance, 30, then say, let's copy this and store here. You are middle age. Else, easily write else, the curly braces, and let's copy and paste over here one more time. You are young. So you are young, you are middle aged. Now if I run, I can see the great and amazing result. Let's be patient. So let's come to this and write 1990 and calc. You are middle aged. Click OK. And also it's a great idea to show the age. So this is the age. Let's uncomment that. Come over here and let's see the result. So let's write 1990. Click 33. This is my age, not exactly my age in the real world. As I mentioned, I'm 1980. So the 33 and you are middle aged. If I write, for instance, 2010 and calculate 13, you are wrong. So it's working perfectly. Let's talk about the breakpoint and how we can use it to find the errors of the application and the codes and fix it. It's really simple. Just come over here and come to the first line over here or here. So I have this one. I can easily get inside this. So come over here and this border and click on this. Now the color of this line is changed to the red color. It means the execution of the application will stop over here until we continue. So come over here and come to this one. It is 2022, or I can write 2000 and calculate. So this is, as you see, the execution is stopped over here. And if you hover on the text, you can see the value of the text. And this is the result. How can I go to the next line? It's really simple. Just come over here and at the top, you can see the step into, a step over. Currently, I haven't any classes or the methods. So let's use the F10 or step over. Directly go to the next line. Now I have the DOB. You can see the value of the DOB and it is 2000. Now I have the age. Age is the year. You can see the year is 2023 and indeed the current dates of the computer. Now the result is the age and this is the age. So age is 23. You can see it over here and show it to the user. And this is, now click on the OK. Go to the next line. I have the if structure. If the age is 23. The 23 is greater than the 30. No, it is not. So show the next line and go to the next line. And this condition is not true. So the codes inside the else will be executed. So go to the next line and show you are young. Indeed, this line of the code is executed like this. Now go to the next one and next, and I start working with the application one more time. So this was about the 2000. If I write 1980, my age, and calculate. So if I take a look, go to the next line, next, and I have 43. So the age is 43, and if the 43 is greater than 30, yes, it is greater than. So go to this one. And if I take a look, click on this button or F10 on your keyboard. Now you are middle-aged and you are middle-aged. This was the really simple and straightforward if structure and its usage. And if I take a look over here, I have the greater than. I can easily say age is greater than or equals, something like this. Or even I can come over here and say not equal. This is the not equal. Don't forget, it is a little bit different. And double equals means the age equals to 30. And also I can come over here and use the smaller and smaller than or equals. So everything is possible to use it over here. Now let's say is greater than 30. Well done. Now we learned the basic structure of the if statement. Go ahead and open up your project and start working with the if structure. Thanks and thanks goodness. Hi, welcome. In this video, I want to show you how to easily start working with the multiple if statements. So let's begin. First, we talked about the if condition, and it is the simple one. It has only one condition over here. But sometimes we need to use multiple if after each other. For better understanding, if I come over here and I added the month number over here, and it is month now, and after that I have the show month name. I want to write this C# code to get the number of month or month number, then show us the name of that month. It's really simple and straightforward. So click over here, and before doing anything, it's really great idea to define something like this, copy and paste it over here. And its name, if I take a look, is the month num or the month number, the text of it, and it is month number, or I can say m and month number over here and here. Now I have the month number. It's time to add the if structures and statements one by one. Say if, double press the tab key on your keyboard and say if mn equals to 1. Then I can write the code over here. For instance, show the message. To do that and for better results, come over here, and after that let's define the string and name it the month name equals to nothing, and after that add the semicolon. Now I have the month name, and for better understanding, let's come over here and paste it exactly here and add the name for the first month. And to start my tutorial, I searched the Google and I have it over here. So let's put it over here, and after that let's be patient. Great. Now I have the code over here, so let's use it up to here easily and quickly. Now if the mn or month number equals to 1, then it is the January. So copy this, and month name equals to nothing, and let's name it the January. So my month name is January, and after that let's copy this part, and I need to add them and say if the mn equals to 2, then it is the February, the month name, up to here. I need to repeat these steps for all of the remaining months. To stop my tutorial, I stop the recording. Stay with me. Well done. Now I successfully added up to 12 months and the name of them over here. So if I take a look, the first one is 1, January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, and the December. So it's time to use this one and show it to the user. Now I can easily say message box dot show, and show what? Show month name, this one. And if I take a look and add the semicolon at the end. Now if I run, I can see the great and amazing result. Let's add some breakpoint over here at the breakpoint. Great. And also let's close this and make it full screen. It looks better. So I have the text box over here. Let's write, for instance, 4 and show month name. By default, the month name is null or nothing, and also month number is 4. So let's get the month name for the month number 4. Come over here and go to the next line using the step over or F10. Then MN is 1, no, is 2, no, 3, no, but over here it is correct. So go to the next line and assign the month name April. So the month name is April. Now go to the next up to the end. So show the month name, and the result is this April. So this is the power of the breakpoint. And after that, let's uncheck the breakpoint and continue. Now let's go over and write, for instance, the 12. You can see it over here, December. And also, it's a great idea to write some if structure over here to check if the number is smaller than the 12 or not. So come over here, and after this one, or over here, let's add the if structure. Now let's go over here and add the if structure and say if the mn is smaller or equals the 12, and this is the result. Is smaller, then do nothing. Do nothing because my number is valid. So my number is valid, so do nothing. Add the else structure and show the message box to the user. And it is something like this message box. Show, please enter the valid month number. And after that, let's go here and return. Return means hello C#, please stop execution the remaining codes up to the end and exit the code. So let's go here and say nothing easily and quickly, the nothing. Now add the breakpoint over here and run the application, and let's see the result. Come over here and write 13 and show month name. So if the 13 is smaller or equals to the 12, no, it's not. So go to the else and execute the code inside the else. Please enter the valid month number and return. Return means go to the end. Go to this one without executing the remaining codes. And after that, if I take a look, for instance, let's write 12 and let's see the result. It is equals to the 12. So do nothing, and this is the do nothing. And after that, get inside the next one and jump the else structure and continue. So let's uncheck this, and if I take a look, name it one more time, December, and also this one, the June, and the 9 is September. So this is the September and the 10. It's a really great idea to check execution of the codes for the different parameters and the month number. Okay, well done. Now we'll learn how to create the multi-if statement. It's very simple and straightforward. Go ahead and open up your project and start working with the multiple if statements. Thanks and thanks goodness. Hi, welcome. In this video, I want to show you how to easily start working with the switch case structure in the C#. So let's begin. Firstly, we talked about the project that we have up to 12 different if structures. So this is the first one, up to 12, and this is the last one. But it's not really great idea adding up to 12 different if statements. Instead of that, we have the switch case. In the switch case, we have the switch, it is keyword or the C# keyword. Then we need to add the parentheses, and inside it, we need to write the value as the variable. And the example is like this. I is int 32. The default value for the I is 10. Then switch the I. And after that, I have the case 1, case 2 up to the end. And this case should be exactly based on the variable. Currently, my variable is int 32. So the case number 1. It means if the I is 1. Case 2 means if the I is 2. And the default means if I can't find any matched I over here, then do something like this. So switch I, then the case 1 equals the codes over here. If the I equals to 1, then execute this code. And after that, the break. Break means stop executing the remaining cases and jump to the end over here. And after that, I have the case 2. Then I have the default. When I haven't any matched I over here, to this line of the code, A equals unknown, and break. And finally, show the message to the user. Let's do it in the action cover here, and select this, put it over here, and let's resize it like this. So I want to work with this structure. Now let's go over here, and over here, View Designer. And here I have the show month name. If you click on it, you can see something like this. I need to copy the first part up to here. And that's what my tutorial ended. So I come over here and I added the simple button and double click on it. Switch button to and paste it exactly over here. Now I have the MN. The MN is the text inside my month number and inside the text box, in the text of this text box. And after that, I have the if structure if the MN is smaller than 12. But this is not really great, and we can use the default instead of this statement. So let's select this and entirely delete that. And this is the result. Now come over here and let's just start working with the switch case. This is the switch. And after that, add parentheses, and I need to write the variable, and my variable is mn, or the text inside the month num text box. So come over here and write the mn. And in the next step, we need to add the curly braces from here up to the end. So let's add the curly braces like this. Switch the case. Which case? The number 1. And the case 1 means when the mn equals to 1. Then we need to add the month name. So this is the month name, and come over here, paste it. The month name equals to what? Equals to January. So it is January, and the semicolon at the end. Also, we need to write the break to stop execution and calculating the remaining cases, and directly jump to the end of switch case exactly over here. Now let's come over here and we need to copy and paste this one up to 12. So I can come over here and paste it number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So let's come over here and say number 1, number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and let's delete the unused one. And this is so case 9. And after the case 9, we need to add the break like this. So let's do it. Now I have up to 12 different cases, and we need to replace this with the actual one. It's time consuming, so stay with me. So I copied all of the 12 month names over here, and in the last step, it's a really great idea to add the default, or if we haven't any match cases over here. So let's write default and the colon like this. Exactly, I'm using this part, and say month name equals to what? Equals to nothing, or unknown. And after that, add the break easily and quickly like this. Now I have the switch case over here, and it's ready for me to start working with it. For better and deeper understanding, let's come over here and add the breakpoint exactly here and run my application and maximize this one. So let's start, for instance, 12 or number 2 and show. So my mn equals number 2. You can see it over here. And if I come to the F10 or a step over, go to the next line, and you can see this is the selected and matched case. So break, and let's start coming over here to the end. But we need to add another line of the code, and this is the message show the A, or my month name. So come over here, and this is the switch case, and let's just stop it. Come over here, this is the switch case. Let's collapse that and come over here and name another one and add the message box. Message box dot show, and this is the result. I can say selected month is this one plus the month name, exactly the month name, and paste it over here easily and quickly. Now let's run and let's see the result one more time and expand the switch. So let's set, for instance, 10 and show month, and this is the result. So the MN is 10. Go to the next line, directly jump inside the case number 10. So it is October and the break. Then show it and the continue. Selected month is October. Also, I can come over here and let's uncheck this and write something wrong. For instance, number 30. So the result is like the selected month is unknown. How it's possible is very simple. Let's add the breakpoint one more time over here and run it. So the MN is 13. Go to the next one and exactly inside the default. As I mentioned, default means unknown over here, or we can't find any matched cases over here. So this is the result and show the message to the user. Selected month is unknown or not defined. Okay, I enjoyed it a lot. Now we learned many great tips and tricks about working with the switch case. And if I divide this part, so this is the result. And you can see switch case over here. And exactly, this is my button. Let's make it a little bit great. This is my button one, and I added another if structure over here to check if the MN is a smaller 12 or not. Instead of this part, indeed from here up to this, let's stop it. I have the if statement over here to check if the MN is a smaller 12 or not up to here. Instead of this, we have the break, and my break is the default one. This is. So instead of the if structure like this, we need to assign the appropriate text in the default case. Well done. Now we learned many great tips and tricks about how to work with the switch case instead of the multiple if statement. Go ahead and open up your project and start writing your own switch case. Thanks and thanks goodness.